Okay, so I am now officially opening the meeting on August 12th, 2019, 3 p.m. at the Council on Aging. It's the Selectmen's Board of Selectmen meeting. The first item on our agenda is scheduled for time certain at 4 p.m., so we're going to skip over it. So the second item is Nate coming at all? I don't think so, but it doesn't matter. The second item on our agenda is to review and vote on the proposed zoning bylaw amendment for mobile homes, storage boxes, and trailers. So what ended up happening is that the bylaw was previously brought to town meeting to allow the building commissioner to issue the permits. However, there was a typo, and where it said board, it should have said building commissioner, and therefore, we need to bring this back to the fall town meeting. So I believe that what we need to do is we need to note the correction and forward this to the planning board to hold the requisite hearing so that this can be brought back for the fall town meeting, which is my motion.
I'll second that.
You want to discuss?
It's friggin' ridiculous.
It's like,
I wouldn't bother.
it's like when
I
we
would
had to
just
go
change
and,
the typo.
you can't.
Did we? You can't.
It's like when we had to go and
Yeah.
accept Ron Circle as a
Roads.
road like 14
Roads, we do
times.
roads and roads and
It's
roads.
great,
Perfect.
yeah. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 3, this is revisit increasing the fine amounts for the violation of the animal control bylaw. The state did an overhaul of the dog laws in 2018 to change the fines that can be assessed for violations. There is a statewide fine schedule for the first offense, 50, second offense, 100, third offense, 300, the fourth and continuing offense, $500. This includes leash law offenses, I think not cleaning up after your dog, as well as biting or vicious dogs. Therefore, but David Freitz wanted the board to consider raising our fines to a much lower amount, but town council has said we can't do that. So I'm not entirely sure what you would like us to do on this, because I believe we can't do anything unless we change the bylaw that allows us to change the maximum fee to $500,
So that would be the vote that you would have to take. Would you vote to change the bylaw?
which can be done through,
Good question.
I don't know if that's another town meeting vote, so we'll put that and table that and move that forward, because I think that will have to go back, so we'll see it on the fall town meeting. Fall town meeting's getting exciting. Welcome, Leah.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
It's all right. Agenda
flat.
item number 4 is a vote to rescind the appointment of John Powderly as the American with Disabilities Act Coordinator. So you would like that rescinded? So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is very exciting. Agenda item number 5, which is a vote to appoint Maureen Candido as the American with Disabilities Act Coordinator. If appointed, her term will expire on April 1st, 2020, so I will make that motion.
Second.
Go ahead. You second everything.
Any discussion? No. All right. Big job. Are you ready for it?
excited.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now, what everyone's been waiting for. This is agenda item number 6. So this is the request to appoint Elizabeth Pratt as a full-time firefighter paramedic and Kyle Medeiros as a full-time firefighter. So the fire chief is here. He's requested the appointment of these individuals, which would be contingent upon a successful completion of a department-approved physical examination, physical abilities test, and a 1-year probationary period. That would be for Elizabeth Pratt, and for Kyle Medeiros, would be contingent upon a successful completion of the department-approved physical examination and physical abilities test, licensure as a paramedic, and a probationary period within 1 year of appointment. So, Chief, please come to the podium thing.
So for my first requested appointee is Liz Pratt. She comes by way of Dartmouth EMS and Fall River Fire Department EMS. She comes with great references. Everybody speaks highly of her. Our preliminary investigations, she has character, and she represented herself very well. She's a young, physically fit, motivated, very serious paramedic, and she would like to be employed by the town of Lakeville, and I'd love to have her. Kyle Medeiros, he's Lakeville's own. He's currently serving as a full-time temporary firefighter. He's a paramedic trainee at Massasoit with Scotty, and he's served the town well up until this point. He's a reliable member of the department. He's been through the Freetown Lakeville Recruit Academy, and I trust him.
Excellent. So I will make a motion that we appoint Elizabeth Pratt as a full-time firefighter/paramedic, again contingent upon the successful completion of a department-approved physical examination, a physical abilities test, and a 1-year probationary period. I'll do one at a time.
Okay. Second.
Any discussion?
Just probably on both of them, Elizabeth is already a paramedic.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And so she just comes in as a full-timer, and I can ask the same question about Kyle. He's not a paramedic yet, but he's enrolled in the school program,
He's an active trainee, and he's progressing well in the program.
and Elizabeth obviously doesn't have to go to the academy. Does Kyle have to go to the academy?
Elizabeth does have to go to the
Does.
firefighting academy.
Does.
And Kyle does have to go to the full-time firefighter academy. He went through a local academy as well.
And why do they, Elizabeth is a full-time firefighter in Fall River? No.
No, she's a full-time paramedic.
Okay.
They're a separate division under the fire
Okay, separate
department.
division, not part of the fire department?
That's correct.
Okay. Actually know some people that do that. Okay.
All right, so that was my
Yep.
first motion, and that was seconded.
Seconded.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and I will also make a motion to approve Kyle Maderos as a full-time firefighter, which is contingent upon a successful completion of a department-approved physical examination, a physical abilities test, licensure as a paramedic, and probationary period within 1 year of appointment.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Welcome and congratulations.
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 Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Excellent. All right. So our next item on the agenda, the chief is still standing at the podium, so it means that this is in order, is a request to appoint William Russo as a call firefighter. So this appointment would be contingent upon the successful completion of a department-approved physical examination, a physical abilities test, and a 1-year probationary period. So chief.
William, or Bill, as he prefers to be called, is an active member of the Plimpton Fire Department. He is a paramedic. He sorted out in the top 10 of our recent hiring and recruiting program. We had 61 applicants for our open full-time positions, and William Russo was finished up at the top of that list as well. And we recruited him for the call department, and we've laid out a blueprint basically where our call firefighters are kind of groomed and brought along for full-time employment. So being a paramedic, being an experienced firefighter, it'd be a win for the Lakeville Fire Department. It would bring our call staff up to 22 call firefighters and 3 junior firefighters, so we'd be at 24 active members of the call fire department.
All right. I'll bite my tongue. You said 22 plus 3, right?
I mean, yeah, it would be 23. Mitzi.
Get your numbers right, chief.
Sorry, chief. I couldn't help myself.
So 22 call
We have, with him, it would bring us at 22 call and 3 juniors.
with him. Okay.
Yeah, with him.
Okay.
25.
26.
All right, perfect.
25, 24.
So I will make a motion to approve William Russo as a call firefighter, contingent upon a successful completion of a department-approved physical examination, a physical abilities test, and a 1-year probationary period.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, agenda item number 8. This is a request from the town clerk to appoint the election poll workers. So all of these individuals will have terms to expire August 15th, 2020. I'm going to name them all, and this is my motion. Marilyn A. Hunt, Joseph A. Chamberlain II, Susan G. Lynch, Margaret L. Gross, Beverly A. Ingraham, Pauline A. Ashley, Joan M. Morton, Jean A. Dulett, Kristen L. Main, Robert E. Brady, Joan E. Newcomb, Gary E. Mansfield, Deborah L. Martin, Patrick R. Fitzgerald, Joanne L. Carreri-Upham, Stephanie I always butcher her last name.
Anna Carrico.
Anna Carrico, thank you. Gail A. Evers, Francis B. Kenny the Fourth, Judy J. Roberts, Julie E. Kettler, Karen A. Kahane, Joanne K. Chiupi, Joanne V. Simino, Bruce G. Baptiste, Mary E. Medeiros, Frederick C. Beal, Evelyn C. Bumpus, Mary M. Franzaglia, Donald J. Bernier Jr., James Gouveia Jr., Rita M. Gouveia, Kenneth S. Grillo, Janet L. Tracy, Robert W. Marshall, Mary E. Silva, Jennifer A. Baticola, Maria A. Peroni Martin, Peter Chiupi, Judith L. Gibbs, Barbara L. Hasdell, Cynthia M. Souza, Margaret D. Bethune, James E. Leonard, Robert M. Buckley, Kathleen L. Fuller, Karen L. Regas, Leanne B. Cataldo, Melissa M. Fitzgerald, Cindy L. Barber, and Richard Velez.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 9, this is a request to appoint Richard Coletti as a constable. He sent his reappointment request. His term will expire August 12th, 2020. There have been no issues with his appointment in the past, so I will make a motion that we appoint Richard Coletti as a constable effective through August 12th, 2020.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 10, this is a request for outdoor entertainment permit for the Lakeville Lions Club for their Family Fun Day on September 7th, 2019 at 170 Main Street. The requested hours are 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. I will make that motion to approve.
Second.
Any
Can I-
discussion?
Yeah. Do they need a detail too, or do they have plans for that police detail?
It's already arranged for.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion?
I'll take your word for it. Can we just make sure on that one? All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 11. This is a request from the South Shore Race Management to hold the Mullen Hill Fall 5K on November 2nd, 2019. This is a fundraiser for the school. This is a 5K that will run along Staple Shore Road out through the settlements with a turnaround at the end of Wagon Trail back to Staple Shore Road for an approximate distance of 3.11 miles. It's a 5K. This is for November 2nd, 2019. Police and fire are okay with this.
So second,
I guess I made that motion, and there's a second. Any discussion?
no.
All
No.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 12 is a request from the Lakeville Arts Council for the signage advertising the Lakeville 2019 Arts Festival. They are requesting, as they always do, a few signs on Precinct and Route 79 and a 3x10 banner on the corner of Dickren and Durand Square. They're requesting the assistance of the Highway Department to place the banner. They'll also place some wire signs on private properties and A-frame signs at Siddell's Plaza and tentatively at the Lakeville Lions property. The signs will also be updated, or this event will be updated after the September 10th election on the main sign. So they are requesting our approval. I will make that motion that we approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that being said, I don't know if we have any new business. Any old business?
We only have, actually, we do have one thing of new business. It was a question more than anything. The transfer station wants to know, because we are closing the parks at dusk, should we be closing the transfer station at dusk?
Is it open that late? It's open till 8?
It's open till
right?
8, which is, dusk is 7 technically.
Apparently, it had closed before in 2012 during this time, so the
I
question had
have
come
no
up.
problem doing that. But should that be a recommendation from the Board of Health? That's really us, it's under our purview, right?
You can, it's actually, anyone can close for health reasons, Board of Health or. Board
Yeah,
of
so
Selectmen.
they requested it of us to have that. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, especially where we've had a confirmed case of, it's not just in the mosquitoes anymore. but-
7 PM is good,
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
All right,
and then no old business.
all right, so we'll make a motion for that,
Um,
approval to close.
So just until
The ban is lifted.
the ban is lifted. Okay.
All right, so that's a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and I guess we probably have to put that on a further agenda just to ratify it the next time, just to make sure we ratify the vote that was taken under new business. That being said, since the last item, which is really agenda item number 1, is not till 4, I believe that the board will take a recess at this time unless there's anything else that needs to come before the meeting.
I'm okay with the recess.
Yep.
Okay?
I'm okay
So,
with recess.
we don't need to vote on that, we're just taking a recess.
No.
All right.
Selectmen's meeting, August 12th, we're reopening, we're on recess, so we're reopening at 4 o'clock. And on the agenda, the board has asked to meet with Lieutenant Sean Joyce and Mark Walter of Sun Multi Sports to discuss complaints regarding the Patriot Triathlon. So who would like to speak to the complaints?
I will.
Go ahead.
Podium.
Maybe you can mosey to the podium.
We
Face
had
the camera.
several complaints
Yeah.
as far as the bicyclists, primarily on South Kingman Street and Pierce Avenue. I know Pierce Avenue, the area that was complained was because the Gym Hut was having their open house. Understandable. I did speak with Mark earlier in the week. We discussed a few options. We can discuss those further. Also, another complaint was the bicyclists, and again, I talked to Mark about this, taking up the majority of the roadway. It happened on Howland Road, happened on Pickens Street, South Kingman Street, and also the number of bicyclists coming out of Heritage Hill onto Highland Road. We had traffic backed up all the way to the traffic lights at 105 and Main Street. Again, Mark and I discussed this, and we're going to try and figure some other options out that he has. As far as going forward, it's up to the board how we proceed, but Mark does have some options available that we can discuss.
Right, I think when I say the only complaint, it's really the complaint regarding the bicycle riders. And you in the past, I've gone to the triathlons where you get the group together and you tell them the rules, you tell them that we're not going to tolerate it. And obviously, some listened, but we seem to be back on that they don't listen anymore, whether it's the number of it. And I love seeing them go through the town. I love the swimming, the bike riding, and I love the running. And we don't have complaints, obviously, on the running. They seem to space out differently. But you know that. You run these functions. And my concern is the road rage part of it is there's so many people that just call and call and call because they see the 3 and 4 abreast, and obviously they're conversing and talking, and the people want to pass by them, and it's just going to be a bad scene someday. But you see this, not just our town's not unique to any other town, and so it's really the bike riders and how you can better control them so we can continue having these functions, because we're at the level of saying, Jesus, why do we bother aggravating our taxpayers? It isn't like, we get a lot of money, but it isn't the money. You could say, well, I'll do another $1,000. That really isn't the issue. It's almost not worth it. We like seeing the police details. It's really the bike riders. So I guess to hear from you as to what your thoughts are, and certainly Sean, who runs all the patrols.
I mean, if I can ask a question, it just seems like bike riders like to ride 4 abreast. I'm not a competitive bike rider. I ride around the neighborhood at best. And just like John, I love seeing, I can see them swim, that's not going to inspire me. I can see them run, that's not going to inspire me. But when I see them biking, and I live on South Kingman Street, when I see them biking, I'm like, man, I really should get out and bike more. So, I mean, I think it's, it inspires people. But especially right there, one part of South Kingman Street, there is a sharp curve. And if a car's trying to come through and we have 3 or 4 bikers, and people, because of the, you know what I'm talking about, right after my house going towards Race Course, if someone is over the line a little bit, and there's 3 guys, 3 girls, 3 whatever, biking together, someone's gonna get hit, and I just don't want it to happen in our town, on our street, outside of my house, or if there was any way we can prevent that. I mean, I know I've even asked my own friends who are competitive bicycle people, and they're like, some people just like the camaraderie of, riding, so to me, that's like the most important thing. And that's what people have said. We have older folks who are nervous enough to drive, never mind driving next to, all the activity. We have young kids who are totally inexperienced. we have distracted drivers, and, you know, I mean, as the selectman, we're sort of responsible to try to make sure nothing bad happens. So, you know, if you have a way to try to make that not happen, I'm all ears.
No, I appreciate having the opportunity to come here and hear the concerns. The last thing, you know, I want to do with one of my events is be alienating local residents and the selectmen, those that give us the support that make life miserable for Lieutenant Joyce. This pains me to hear, but, you know, I'm glad I have this opportunity to come here to address it. So, you know, to give perspective, you know, some of the things I've done in the past, you know, we do have reminders, race morning, we put stuff in communication. I've had signage in transition. You know, we have officials on the course because it's actually against the rules. They're not supposed to do that. So, you know, honestly, what I'm looking to do going forward is to be far more heavy-handed with it. You know, we actually had a little issue with some littering at one of the events. The following year, I was extremely vocal and came down on it, and then it really got through because then that year it was less of an issue. So that's part of my plan, is to just be far more vocal, make them understand what's at stake here. You know, I get a lot of people that say they love this race, the one in June, the one coming up. So just make them aware, you know, this is the risk. I'm also going to be I have these signs printed up. I'm basically going to put these all along the course.
Yeah,
which I haven't done before. I usually have it just when they're going out on the bike. So this will hopefully, again, constant reminders that you need to ride single file.
I mean, even, you know, if you drive the course, you can definitely see, like, especially the one curve that I'm talking about. It's the one I'm most familiar with because it's on my street. I've lost one dog since, but I used to walk 3 dogs, and I still walk 2 big dogs, and I walk, you know, way on the side. I try to walk on way away from the street because people are just coming around that corner, and I would hope that they would slow down when they see all the bikers, but there's me and my 3 dogs. That's not a small, and they still fly around that corner, so I just don't want anyone to get hurt.
It was back about 3 years ago that you were very forceful in talking about single file at the Ted Williams. I mean, you always announce it, but back a few years ago, you really got on them, and whether they become lax, whether we want your helpers on the course to write their numbers down and go back to you, we're not gonna do that.
Right.
But obviously, I've been there when you do the announcements, and it just doesn't seem to sink in, or maybe they've just become lax again, and maybe the threat to say, listen, the towns aren't going to tolerate this. It isn't, we're not heavy-handed people.
Right.
We're the country bumpkins that like to see this activity occur. So I know you've done it. I think that's a great step in the right direction. And your announcement that you do, appreciate it. And also when you fly us. It's really only the bike riders. That they've got to get that somehow, and maybe writing their numbers down and say, listen, you're not going to go in the next event in this town and this town. You can go to my other towns, but maybe to bounce 1 or 2, and I'm not going there.
No, I understand, and again, we have officials, and one of the things I was planning on doing is, because I know like Pickens seems to be a location where that happens, so that's where I'd be looking to have extra signs, and I'm basically saying to the officials, I want one official that just is on that section. They're on a motorcycle, so they'll ride right up alongside, and that's what they're doing, they're writing numbers down. And so what I'll be doing is trying to, you know, again, bring some focus to some of these areas where it's especially an issue.
I mean, you know, I can't exactly remember the date it started, but like I said, I've lived on the route for a long time, and it's been a while, and I mean, we can't forget that every year we've had 30 or so building permits for single family. I mean, you know, that's X number of more people too, with cars and everything.
Well, that's what Sean has brought up, that,
right.
you know,
So, you know,
there's
we
just more
have
traffic.
to, right, and again, we have to be more diligent too, just because, you know, we allow a race and there is a tragedy, God forbid, then, there's not going to be anything like that anymore. We
Right.
know that, so, you know.
So, so that, one of the things that I'm going to be looking at, so again, just for everyone's, so we're all on the same page. So I have the event in June, which is basically a cathedral camp that comes through Lakeville, and then I have the one in 2 weeks, which is a 2-day affair. The one in June had 700 athletes on bikes, and it's a 2-loop course, so they were coming through town twice. So that right there is essentially 1,400.
Right.
Between,
Right.
you know, if you could think of it that way, between the hours of like, in Lakeville from like 7:30 to 12:30. So those are the numbers and the duration that I'm looking at minimizing next year. So really what I'm hoping to be able to achieve is maybe they only come through once, and then they're doing additional loops down in Rochester or something. So I think that'd be one of the things. I have a couple of other options that I'm looking at that, you know, I'm still, you know, playing with. One could be even an earlier, they start at 7, maybe it's 6:30, again, just because of this
Right.
greater volume of people on the road, and like Sean was saying, you know, people, more and more activities that people are trying to get to, you know, earlier and earlier. So, and versus the event coming up, last year we had 450 starters. And those are shorter distance events. So just to give you some numbers, you know, I'm still going to be implementing all the things we've talked about, but, you know, I can see where the June event is probably a bigger pain point.
It seems to be.
Right.
And I think your point of coming through town twice. Now, I have confidence between you and Sean that you figure it out, but I think if the riders really believe that they're not going to be allowed back in the next, not all the riders, but the flagrant ones, and it's probably the same people,
Yeah, right,
and you wouldn't miss 20 of them.
right.
I mean, you know, we've seen it, because I do see a lot of people, because my street's kind of a main street, and I think it's partly personality. There's entire groups, 10 riders, that go by single file on a Sunday morning. And then there's other groups that I see over and over, they go by 4 at a time, so, you know, so it's gotta be personality, it's gotta be either, you know, competition, or, you know, camaraderie, or
Right.
one of those things, but if we could just get the word out that, you know, listen, there's,
Let's see how your signs work, and we'll call it our event in a couple of weeks.
yeah.
And see if that helps.
Okay.
But the cathedral camp, I don't hear as many complaints, obviously, about the Lakeville one as I do, and I don't know why, maybe it's the number of bike riders
Right.
that do that.
And because that's a longer distance event, we get a lot of people, it's considered a half-distance triathlon, which is, you know, we'll have people starting at 7, finishing at 3:30. It's a big deal for a lot of people. It's a great personal accomplishment. People are coming back from cancer. You know, all these things are, you know, the side stories. And I feel, just, I have no empirical evidence of this, but I feel like maybe for that event, there's more of that, hey, we're doing this together. I mean, I get people that email me and say, well, can we start in the same group together, right? We're doing this together, we're training together. So I kind of feel like there may be an element of that that's, at a minimum, maybe contributing to some of this. So again, my goal, my plan is certainly to be more vocal and clear
you
about
know,
the consequences.
for some people, a small warning, not even warning, caution goes a long way. You know, hey, people, there's more people living in town, there's more of us, you know, let's try to adhere more. You're gonna get a certain percentage, you're gonna be like, you know what, all right,
Right.
we'll do that,
Right.
you know?
And hopefully police some of the others as well.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
Let's see how it works out.
yeah.
But we wanted to tell you our concerns, because we hear from a lot of people,
Sure.
the cathedral camp one in particular.
Okay, all right,
But
thank you.
thank you for coming, and Sean, and
Oh, yes, thank you. So one of the things we did for the race in June was we had a partial road closure of Pierce Avenue because the road's kind of choppy, and, you know, the idea was if we could have the eastbound lane between School Street and County, that would allow bikes to not have to deal with as much of the choppy and could be in the middle of the road without blocking cars. I know there was the issue with the gym hut. I know next year we aren't conflicting on the same date, so that's good. But if the selectmen approve, I'd like to implement that for the Saturday race coming up in 2 weeks. It would only be on that Saturday. That's a sprint distance race, so it would probably be between like 8 and 9:15-ish, so it's about an hour.
Right, so we close down from School Street heading towards County?
Yes.
Okay.
Made it one.
Which is not a long,
It's,
we'll call it not a long
And it
section.
sends out postcard reminders.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I think it worked out well,
Okay.
right,
even though
Right.
we had the issue with the gym hut. that
right.
didn't
And,
interfere with them.
and I think it's important that we work to make sure we're not on the same dates with the gym hut,
Right.
because they have, I happen to go to that. I could say they have 1,000 visitors over the weekend. I mean,
Yeah.
it's over the top.
I did speak with Angela
yeah,
and, you know.
yeah, and they're great
apologized
people, and you know what,
Yep.
they do what they're supposed to do in order to keep their business permit and,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
whatever, so we want to make sure that they're not going to be inconvenienced, because, you know, they do a lot of good for the kids in our
Right.
community,
Absolutely.
whatever, so, you
So
know.
next year, there's not a conflict, but can you make sure that each year there's not a
Yeah,
conflict?
I'll certainly
Yeah.
work with it,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
That's fine. I think we,
We have Kevin from the Board of Health
yeah,
here.
yeah, we have Kevin from the Board of Health, because we certainly
Oh,
asked, you can grab a seat back now. Kevin, part of the question was that we have the parks closed on till dusk.
Correct.
Question was, do we do any spraying ourselves of the parks? Does the town of Lakeville do it?
We don't do it. We have to contact Plymouth County, and right now the state's doing the aerial
Aerial
spray.
spraying.
Right. Do we want to contact Plymouth County a few days prior to? Can we contact them?
We
To have
can.
them do extra spray in the Ted Williams area?
We could
Because
definitely,
their date
ask.
is not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend.
So is that the
And-
24th?
And the fifth, yes.
And, okay.
But they
Yes.
start setting up
We will on Thursday, but Thursday we start at 8, Thursday and Friday we start at 8, and we're out of there, you know.
Yeah, but if they're gonna drive the truck
Oh, I see.
onto the field,
Oh, I see.
you don't want the
Yeah.
transition lanes
Right.
blocking, so maybe.
So if they
Wednesday,
sprayed, how long is it lasts for a few days? Oh,
Typically, yeah, but it doesn't stay, the residual doesn't stay for
Right.
that
So-
much longer.
would you be calling, can we
I-
have
I can
you
definitely
them?
call
Right.
on behalf
And we're
of-
trying to work that out to make it
Say,
better.
I had a quick question. What time is the triathlon?
It starts at 7:30, but I brought this up because, you know, we generally have people showing up before 5:30. 5:30 is when we say transitional, when people are gonna start checking in, but we'll have people there at like 5.
Because dawn is typically before,
I know. That's-
before the
Exactly.
sun.
consider,
Well, so- Right, well, dawn that day is, I don't know, but it's,
Yeah.
I know we usually
I'd have to
show
look it
at
up, it's
dark.
probably about 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Because I happen to start work
Yeah.
at 5:30 every day.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, I
that's all.
know from years past, we show up, it's dark,
Yeah,
so.
And then you're finishing around what time?
they finish
late
early.
morning,
Yeah.
late morning.
Yeah,
It's just, again, put the word out, precaution,
Yeah.
we're in that alert, spray. Just,
Yeah.
we're all in the same boat, so we
yeah.
just have to
And
make
we'll
sure.
count on you having, which probably isn't a bad idea anyways,
to have them
having it sprayed extra, have them
Yeah.
drive on the fields, the whole bit.
I'll make the call, hopefully they
Yeah.
can get it at that time.
Yeah, and tell them the spiel
Definitely, I'll
of
say we're gonna have.
big triathlon.
Okay.
A lot of folks there, and just a side note, I'll also be testing the beach, or the water, that Friday, next Friday, this Friday coming up, and then hopefully nothing comes back, and we'll test it again if needed.
okay.
We do that for every year.
Yes, but you're testing it a week before.
Nope,
Okay.
Right, you're testing it the week before.
the week before.
Yeah,
So hopefully there's no.
should be fine.
Yeah.
It's never, it's always a problem after it
Travel
rains,
then.
it's never a problem prior to. Okay. Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. Sean, do you have any? Sure.
Are we all set for the partial road closure on PSF?
Yeah, should we make a
Yes,
vote?
I'll make a motion that we have a partial road closure from School Street heading towards County, on School Street on PS Ave heading towards County Street.
Second.
Okay.
All
All
in
in
favor?
favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if no new and old business, I make the motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Done.